The Mile High debut. And things start to get real. Preseason game number 3. Our best look at what the Broncos will look like come the regular season. It's also time for these two teams to get real. After practicing against one another, it's time to play.
And it's a pleasant night for football here in Denver, Colorado, as at Sports Authority Field at Mile High, the Broncos play their third preseason game this year as they welcome in the San Francisco 49ers. Hi, everybody. Ron Zappolo, pleased to be joined once again by former Broncos safety and future Hall of Famer John Lynch. John, the Broncos looking for some improvements tonight, I think, especially with that first-string offense. How important is it that they look a little sharper tonight?
Well, this is going to be their first opportunity at extended action, and I think it's really very important that they start to develop a chemistry and a rhythm together. Peyton Manning played about 20 plays last week, and it was what it was. But now you're going to have an opportunity for him to be out there with Demaryius, with the first strings, and it's important, I think, to get a good vibe going into the regular season.
Will it look more like a Gary Kubiak style offense tonight?
I think it will be mixed. I think that's what Gary has promised, is they're going to do what they do, the foundation, the commitment to the running game. But Gary has said it, and I believe right there with him, he'd be foolish not to do the things that Peyton Manning has done so well in his career.
Absolutely. And then we get to the defense. I don't know what more you could ask. They lead the preseason in sacks. They're aggressive. They attack. What more can we see from them?
Well, I think this is the type of defenses I'm starting to watch them. I played on some of the greatest defenses of all time, and you have to raise your standard when you're that good. And they've got an opportunity to be dominant. Last year they were third-ranked defense, but it didn't feel dominant. I think raise that standard, continue to play like this, and you come into the season with a tremendous feeling. This defense could be something special.
And tonight they get one of their best defensive players back. Danny Trevathan, who had a number of knee injuries last year, will start tonight and get his first action of the preseason. We're glad you're with us. Should be a good game tonight. The Broncos and the 49ers. We're back with the opening kickoff in just a few minutes. Are pleased again to be working with Rod Mackey down on the sidelines. Rod?
Ron, thank you. Tonight is the final football game for 15 of these Broncos. The cuts are coming. Denver will have to get down to 75 players by Sunday or Monday, and then the deepest cut of them all is they get down to that final 53. But the Broncos have jumped the gun, so to speak. They started making moves a little bit early as they got rid of Connor Barth, their kicker. That kicker who was 15 of 16 in field goals last season, but when it came to leg strength, he could not compete with Brandon McManus. McManus is a special team dream, booting it out of the end zone. Plus, he's been dead on for field goals so far in the preseason. So McManus is the man when it comes to kickers, and now the Broncos have to go and pick a punter. Guys, back up to you.
All right, Rod, thanks very much. Tonight's keys to the game are brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. John, what do you have?
Well, Ron, you see it, create chemistry. I think it's really important for the offense in particular to start to play well as a unit, go into the season feeling really good about yourself. We talked about this defense. I really think they have a chance to do some great things this year, continue to play to that standard, and then Rod just talked about it. We got some jobs on the line tonight. In the second half, we're going to see guys fighting for roster spots. You got an opportunity. You play well, you stick around.
49ers won the toss. They deferred, so the Broncos will get it first. Omar Bolden is deep to return this kickoff. The other big news of the week, besides the Brandon McManus story, the Evan Mathis story, the new Pro Bowl guard coming to Denver.
Huge signing. Yeah, I think Peyton Manning's a very happy man. Those youngsters on the left side of the line are doing well, but to get a Pro Bowl player at this stage of the game is a huge plus.
And we'll develop that as we go on. The kick is returned by Bolden out to the 18 where he loses the ball. Joe Don Duncan falls on it at the Bronco 21. They're going to call that a fumble, and Duncan made the recovery as Peyton Manning brings his starting offense minus Emmanuel Sanders out onto the field.
And Peyton's excited, that the rest plan that Gary Kubiak has had in place, he's been resting a lot, but now he gets a chance to go out there and do what he loves, and that's to play.
From the 21, Peyton to throw on first down. Over the middle, it's complete to Cody Latimer, a short gain. out to the 25, where Michael Wilhoit, the veteran linebacker, made the tackle. Denver's offensive line, you see Max Garcia in there. Evan Mathis will eventually get in there. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Evan Mathis won't play tonight, won't play next week, but he will play in the opener against Baltimore. C.J. Anderson, the running back. And you can see the veteran receivers as Manning completes his second straight pass. This one out to the 28. They're going to call that a fumble. Nope, they've got it down. They've got it down at the 29. And there's the call right there.
Just a little 5-yard stick route. It's Navarro Bowman who starts just ripping at that football. Eventually it comes loose, but the side judge on it. Let's see if that ball comes out. Looks like the ball touches. He's down. Great story having Navarro Bowman back for the San Francisco 49ers. One of the great linebackers in this league. As Jim Tomsula now is challenging that play.
I thought he might challenge it. It is close. We got a 3rd and 2, and it is great to have Navarro Bowman back. There's Jim Tomsula, the 19th coach in 49er history. He takes over for Jim Harbaugh, who went to Michigan.
Is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass and down by contact.
Tomsula for 8 years was the 49er defensive line coach. We'll take a break while they go under the hood. No score here in Denver. We are still under review here as they're checking out that second down completion of Demaryius Thomas. Navarro Bowman ripped it out. Glenn Dorsey picked it up. What do you think, John?
I think the important thing, watch his right knee. He still has control of the football when that right knee right there is
After
down.
reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a completed catch. 3rd down and 2. San Francisco is charged for first timeout.
So Jim Tomsula 0-1 tonight on the challenges. It'll bring up a 3rd and 2 for Denver.
And this is an important situation. This is where they need to be a little better. The 3rd and 4th and shorts last week in Houston, not good enough. Got to move the chains on these 3rd and short yardage situations.
Jordan Norwood, number 11, in the slot on 3rd and 2. Play action. Peyton with time, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Cody Latimer. Dante Johnson got a hand on it along with Eric Reed, and the Broncos go 3 and out.
Well, Eric Reed does a heck of a job. Nice play action. You see Eric Reed right there in the screen. He's lurking, just watching Peyton Manning's eyes, and flows to the ball. The excellent play by a really good young safety in San Francisco, Eric Reed.
Britton Colquitt on the punt. And deep for the Niners is Reggie Bush. Bush, one of a number of free agents that came over to San Francisco. He takes it from his own 29. Gets to the outside where James Casey runs him out at the 37. A flag is down, an 8-yard return by Bush.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 24. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. San Francisco keeps the ball. First down.
That call on Sharice Wright of the Niners. So San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick will get it for the first time tonight. Colin Kaepernick leading the first-string Niners offense out onto the field. Tonight's first quarter down and distance brought to you by DraftKings. Play weekly fantasy football for free and win huge cash prizes. Welcome to the big time. Get to DraftKings.com right now. Colin Kaepernick is the quarterback. Carlos Hyde, the running back. Vernon Davis, the veteran tight end. The receivers are Anquan Bolden and Torrey Smith, who came over from Baltimore. He and Reggie Bush, the two big-name free agents on offense. From the 23, the handoff to Hyde, and Hyde's out to the 30, where Aqib Talib makes the tackle after a gain of 7.
Well, Carlos Hyde now, with the departure of Frank Gore, the longtime 49er, is going to have his opportunity to be the lead back, and they're very excited, as well they should be. You see the 49ers offensive line, Joe Staley, a Pro Bowl left tackle, one of the best in the game. Marcus Martin moving back over to center. We talked about Hyde. Torrey Smith coming over from Baltimore, a really big pickup for Colin Kaepernick.
On second down, here comes the rush. Von Miller's got him, and down goes Kaepernick back at the 20. Von Miller making his presence felt along with Brandon Marshall.
Well, I think Von Miller is ready for the regular season, because consistently throughout training camp, throughout the games, the limited action he's had, he's been impressive. As you run it, you just see Von Miller doing what he does, running right by the tight end, leaving a tight end one-on-one on Von Miller. Bad deal. Von Miller having an incredible start to this season.
3rd and 13 from the 20. Kaepernick fumbles the snap. It's picked up by Reggie Bush. Bush is out to the 29, where he is stopped there by Aqib Talib, but there are some problems on the sideline between the Broncos and the Niners. Some of the Niners may have been, John, a little upset at the physicality of Aqib Talib.
It's football, and you want to hurdle, you pay the consequences. You see Von Miller setting the edge. The ball dropped, and watch Aqib Talib. He goes up. Aqib Talib says, "Thank you very much," and drops him right in front of the 49ers sideline.
Aqib Talib just having a great camp.
You love cornerbacks that can not only cover but will play physically like that. We had one of the best of all time in Champ Bailey here. The thing I always respected about him most was his willingness to play physical. Aqib Talib has that.
Bradley Pinion, their rookie punter, just does indeed get it off. Omar Bolden is back, and he catches it out of bounds just shy of the 25-yard line. So each team has had it once. Neither team has a first down. A 46-yard punt by Pinion. Time to meet the player, brought to you by CenturyLink. Tonight we spotlight the newest Bronco, left guard Evan Mathis, the 6'3", 300-pound guard from the Eagles, a Pro Bowler in 13 and 14. He was ranked 88th of the top 100 players of 2014. He founded Zone Athletics Performance in 2010, a training facility for elite athletes and everyday fitness enthusiasts. The pass is complete out to James Casey at the 37-yard line. And that'll be close to a first down.
There's Evan Mathis, Ron. We had an opportunity to sit with Evan yesterday, and what a pickup at this stage of the game, being able to pick up a guy like Evan Mathis, a Pro Bowl left guard, to add some experience to that youth, and just a high-caliber football player. Huge signing for the Denver Broncos.
Here's the handoff to C.J. Anderson. He's got a first down out to the 37. Eli Harold, 58, the outside linebacker, making the tackle, a first down for Denver.
Well, a good surge for C.J. Anderson, and you see what you're going to see so much in this system, in the zone system. Linemen going side to side. C.J. Anderson's going to stretch when he sees that whole foot in the ground and downhill.
Jordan Norwood again in the game, in the slot. The handoff again to CJ. There's a hole. He's across the 45 to midfield. Another first down for Denver. Michael Wilhoit again, the shoestring tackle, but a nice gain for C.J. Anderson and a first down.
A beautiful job by this offensive line. You see Max Garcia and Matt Paradis. I tell you, Ron, Matt Paradis is a guy, he's getting his first opportunity to start in this league. He's a good football player. I can tell you that already. He reminds me a lot of an old center here, Tommy Nalen. Very tough and strong player, gonna make them better at that center position.
I praise comparing them to Tommy Nalen. From midfield, Peyton dumps it out to Demaryius Thomas. He's down to the San Francisco 40, and that's close to another first down. Antoine Bethea, the veteran safety, made the tackle.
Well, it wasn't the prettiest ball in the world. It looks like it may have got deflected. You see kind of a A wounded duck getting out there to Demarius, but it was on point, and that connection is one we've seen so often. Peyton Manning to Demarius Thomas. Demarius really working himself into playing shape after his holdout.
Here's the pitch to C.J. Anderson. Looking for room. Not much, and down he goes after a gain of about a yard. Eli Harold, along with Kenneth Acker, on the stop.
You take a look at that. Clearly the standout of camp and really throughout the league, I think, is Ronnie Hillman. He's had an outstanding preseason. C.J. Anderson's a good back, and I think this system is a great fit. Jawan Thompson has rushed the ball well, gives them a different power runner. Monte Ball's the guy who's got to pick it up, who'll have his opportunities tonight.
Peyton dumps it out to Anderson. Breaks a tackle. Breaks another tackle all the way down to the 31-yard line. A hard bit of running by Anderson. Eric Reed finally making the stop.
Well, San Fran was on this, and this is just a tremendous job by C.J. Anderson. He's going to get hit right away. He spins away from the pressure and then runs tough and hard through the tackles. That's what C.J. Anderson brings. He's not a guy who goes down very often on the first tackle.
3rd and short. Here's Anderson again. Make it Ronnie Hillman who's in the game, and he's got a first down. Ronnie Hillman to the San Francisco 28, where Michael Wilhoit makes the tackle.
Well, Ronnie Hillman continues to impress. Antoine Bethea, you can't block them all when they bring everybody up in the box. Antoine Bethea has a free shot, but Ronnie Hillman, as he's done so well throughout this preseason, making the first guy miss, getting the first down.
1st and 10 for Denver at the San Francisco 28. Ronnie Hillman remains in the game. He's had a great camp and a great preseason. Here comes the rush. Navarro Bowman has Manning down back at the 35.
Navarro Bowman out all last year. He plays about 3 plays last week, has 3 tackles, 2 for a loss. He's picking up where he left off, a catastrophic knee injury in the playoffs in 2013, but watch him just go right through Ronnie Hillman, misses the pickup, and you can't do that against a player of the caliber of Navarro Bowman.
A great story. 19 months since he's played. That everybody remembers that knee injury in the NFC Championship game against Seattle. And he's on his way back. Manning over the middle to Jordan Norwood. He's wrapped up by Bowman right at the 30. Bowman.
So much talk about who they've lost. Patrick Willis, Chris Borland, Justin Smith,
Alden Smith.
And
Ahmad Brooks went home this week. Yeah. Legal problems.
Alden Smith's the most important one. The other guys, all great players, but Justin Smith wasn't the same guy he once was, nor was Patrick Willis. Alden Smith's a game-changing player, but getting Navarro Bowman back, that helps, kind of cushion all those losses.
3rd down and 12 from the San Francisco 30. C.J. Anderson back in the game. Andre Caldwell in the game. Caldwell at the top of your screen. Peyton steps up. And he's got Jordan Norwood down to the 16-yard line. That's a first down for Denver. Keith Reeser making the tackle. Jordan Norwood getting some early looks, John.
Yeah, that's important. Remember, Wes Welker no longer here. Who's going to play that slot role? Well, Jordan Norwood has shown the ability to get in that slot and get open. That's what you have to do in the slot. Peyton Manning, you get that kind of separation, he's going to put it on the money every time. Peyton Manning to Jordan Norwood. Jordan Norwood having a nice preseason.
4.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Denver on an extended drive. Here comes the rush, and down goes Peyton. Navarro Bowman again. And
I think he's healthy.
Navarro Bowman is ready for the season to start. He is all over the field.
I was reading a story about Navarro Bowman this week. It takes him 2 hours to get ready for every practice.
I read that.
It was really a bad injury, but
of course it helps when you don't get blocked either.
Yeah, you've got to account for a guy like that, and maybe think about not putting a back on him, putting one of those big boys on him.
2nd and 19. After the Bowman sack, he's got 2 already. Here's the handoff to Anderson. Breaks a tackle. But guess what? Navarro Bowman has him wrapped up at the 20.
He really is one of the best linebackers in football. The question was, could he come back? And I think the early returns are positive for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, it's great to see him this healthy and playing this well when you consider the severity of that injury. Jim Tomsula, got to be one less headache for him. 49ers 8-8 last year, lost a lot of players. 3rd and 15. Down the sidelines, incomplete. Demarius Thomas had a hand on it, but Dante Johnson with good coverage. And the Broncos will have to settle for 3.
Well, that's a ball that Demarius Thomas usually comes down with. Peyton Manning perhaps could have put it out in front of him a little more, but you get that one-on-one opportunity. The ball is behind him. Johnson does a nice job of getting that right hand, but if you're Demarius Thomas, you got to go up and pluck that football.
This will be a 37-yard attempt for the Broncos' new field goal kicker, Brandon McManus. And that kick is good, and Denver takes the early lead. McManus, a 37-yard field goal. Denver out in front, 3-0. Bronco fans, got some advice for the quarterback or the head coach? Tell us what you're thinking in our live online chat right now. Just head over to the 9 News Facebook page at facebook.9news.com/ILike9News and join the huddle. We want to hear from you. So the Broncos out in front with a McManus 37-yard field goal. DeAndrew White is deep to take the kickoff of Spencer Lanning, who is a punter who was brought in to challenge Britton Colquitt, and they're in a battle. Peyton 7 of 9 for 53 yards. C.J. Anderson 22 yards rushing. And that kick about 8 yards deep will be run out by White. And he's out to the 22 where Steven Johnson wraps him up, and that's where the 49ers will take over. Late first quarter, Denver out in front, 3-0. We were watching this in the pregame, and you said that was something you might pass on if ever given the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I want to skydive, period. Certainly not into a stadium full of people.
It is impressive to watch. Up here in the booth, we have a great view of it, and they come in hot, but
they sure do.
They get the job done. Niners have it for the second time tonight. They take over on their own 22. First strings on both sides. Should play the first half tonight at least. Here's the handoff to Hyde. He gets a 3 where Malik Jackson is the last one off the pile. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Nationwide Insurance.
Well, this defense has been very, very good this preseason. You see the linebackers. It's sure nice to have Brandon Marshall, who came back last week, Danny Trevathan, T.J. Ward playing really well. Roby in for Chris Harris, who's out with the sore hamstring.
2nd and 7. It's Kendall Hunter out to the 27, a pickup of 2. Danny Trevathan, the last man off that pile.
74. 10-yard penalty. Speed second down.
And a holding call on the veteran left tackle Joe Staley. And that'll push San Francisco back.
Well, we talk about how nice it is to see Navarro Bowman back. You know, the same can be said for Danny Trevathan, who just had a really tough year, 3 times re-injuring that knee. And he's taken his time. It's been a slow, arduous process, but back on the field, and it's really nice to see.
Sure is. 2nd and 17 for the Niners. Here comes the rush. And Kaepernick was looking for Hunter, but Brandon Marshall was there. He just got rid of it, and it'll be 3rd and long. Well, the Broncos, John, you talk about an attacking, aggressive defense from Wade Phillips. We're seeing it.
Well, aggressive is the word. And T.J. Ward yesterday said, disrupting and harmful, I think was the language he used for this defense. Wade Phillips, he's done this for a long time. He's confused a lot of people over time, and he's got so many options at his disposal. He's got star power. He's got depth.
3rd and 17 for Kaepernick. And that one will be blown dead by another flag.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That one on the right tackle, Eric Pierce. So they're splitting it up. Tony Carter not playing tonight. He's out on the defensive side. Of course, Emmanuel Sanders not playing.
Yeah, these are the situations that are going to be tough for Denver Bronco opponents because you've got two elements. You've got guys who can flat out rush the passer, and you've got great cover corners, a lethal combination in these 3rd and long situations.
3rd and 22. There's the handoff to Reggie Bush. Out across the 25, across the 30, where Darren Stewart finally stops him just shy of a 1st down.
Now you don't want this Denver Bronco defense to be able to pin their ears back, so oftentimes that's what people are going to do. They're going to run the football, see what they can get, try to keep their quarterback healthy. Reggie Bush comes very close to getting that 1st down.
Needed 22, he got 21. A little over a minute to go now in this 1st quarter. And we are going to get a measurement. It looks short, but we shall see. Couple of feet. Reggie Bush, one of those guys now, John, kind of a vagabond. He's kind of bouncing around, but he still has a little something to offer, doesn't he?
Oh, he certainly does. I mean, Carlos Hyde's going to be the workhorse, but Reggie Bush, that change of pace, so effective in that. Sean Payton down in New Orleans called it that joker role where he can run the football, and that's the one thing Reggie Bush has shown the last couple of years, the ability to also mix in the power running game in the inside, always known as a great perimeter runner.
So on 4th and 1 from their own 31, the Niners will punt. Bradley Pinion is their 5th round choice. He's a rookie out of Clemson. Omar Bolden back at his own 11-yard line. From the 19. Oh, Bolden hit hard. And down he goes. L.J. McCray, number 31, giving him a shot. Bolden holds on after a 50-yard punt. The DraftKings Bronco Huddle coming this fall to Channel 9. The season kicks off Wednesday, September 16th. Live shows each and every week throughout the season. Join Rod Mackey and Bronco wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders Wednesday nights at 6:30 on Channel 9. Emmanuel Sanders will not play in this preseason. Does that in any way even slightly concern you, or is the timing with Peyton Manning off last year enough to get ready?
Well, I think they're being very precautionary with keeping Emmanuel out, but I think he and Peyton have good timing, good rapport. Obviously, you would like him out there.
It's 1st and 10 from the 23. It's Anderson up the middle, a good hole. CJ's out to the 32. To pick up a 9 yards, it'll be 2nd and 1.
Ron, we were talking about at the game, the one thing that does jump at you is you see the nice run by C.J. Anderson. The one thing that does jump, you do not have the depth at the receiving core that they had last year with Julius Thomas gone, with Wes Welker gone. When Emmanuel Sanders or Demaryius Thomas is out, it's more glaring this year because they just don't have 4 guys across the board that scare people.
James Casey, the fullback, in the game. On 2nd and 1, Anderson's got a 1st down across the 35. Michael Wilhoit there on the tackle, but a 1st down for Denver. CJ getting a lot of work. He told us yesterday It would almost be disrespectful if he wasn't a great back in this Gary Kubiak offense.
Yeah, I love this quote. When Gary Kubiak was named the head coach, he knew the commitment to run was going to be there. He said, I got happy quick.
We've played a quarter in Denver. The Broncos out in front, 3-0. Of course, the Broncos and the Niners spent the week together. The Niners practiced twice this week out at the Bronco facility. Here's what Peyton Manning had to say about the experience.
It just gives you a chance to see some different coverages and see some different blitzes. You know, for receivers to go against a different defensive back who may play a different technique, and so it's always a good thing, no matter when you do it.
The Broncos got a lot of good work on 1st and 10. The handoff to Anderson. Cuts it up, gets it across the 40 to about the 41 where Tank Carradine makes a stop.
It was interesting. You hear Peyton's comments about the value of practicing against the 49ers, but Gary Kubiak really felt that the opportunity to get the 2s and 3s, the back end of this roster, to be able to evaluate, because they aren't going to be able to play a whole lot tonight. Starters will play certainly to the half and then maybe coming out of the half, so the backups will not get as much. So Gary said they essentially stole another preseason game for those backups getting to show themselves.
2s and 3s will get a lot of work next Thursday night against the Cardinals. Play action. Here comes the rush, and Peyton decides just to go down. Corey Lemonnier and Eric Reed were there, but Peyton went down without getting hit. Let's take a look at C.J. Anderson in his last play. He may have been shaken up.
Yeah, he came off the field. Steve Antonopoulos, the trainer, met him at the sidelines. It looked like he got a little ding there.
He's been dinged a few times in his preseason. Bounces right back. From the shotgun, Ronnie Hillman, along with Peyton. He's got time. He was looking for Owen Daniels, couldn't come up with it. Dante Johnson on the coverage.
Well, look, Owen Daniels is a veteran player. Peyton Manning obviously in his 18th season, but that's a case right there. Two guys not on the same page. And so, listen, I'm all for rest, but at some point you need to play together, and you need to play together in game situations. That's why this is so invaluable. But right there, an instance where they were not. Peyton felt like he was going to sit. Owen Daniels keeps going. The result is an incompletion.
Britton Colquitt on. Reggie Bush back inside his own 20. Reggie Bush decides to let it bounce. It'll go inside the 10, inside the 5, and Todd Davis has it down at the 2-yard line.
Great punt by Colquitt.
A lot better coverage tonight than we've seen in the last couple weeks. 62-yard punt from Colquitt. Well, the Broncos trivia question tonight brought to you by Longmont United Hospital, changing the caring experience. Tonight we ask which two current Bronco coaches won their first Super Bowl rings as members of the 49ers staff.
I know it.
You got it right away.
Little hint, both of them coached for the Denver Broncos when I was playing here.
Good hint. One should be very obvious.
Yes.
From the 3, Bruce Miller, the fullback. Carlos Hyde, the running back. Kaepernick, here comes the rush. And DeMarcus Ware has Kaepernick for a safety. DeMarcus Ware having a good camp. Maybe he's found the fountain of youth.
Well, DeMarcus Ware has been doing this for a long time in his 11th year. But boy, he looks spry. Just beats Eric Pears off the edge with speed and then the ability to turn that corner. Turn the edge there. Just flat out speed. That's whooping the guy one-on-one. Nothing fancy about that. That wasn't scheme. That was DeMarcus Ware. Just overwhelming Eric Pears, former Bronco Eric Pears, with speed.
So the Broncos add 2 to the lead. It's 5-0 Denver.
You take a look at this last play, DeMarcus Ware. Look at the get-off. 117 sacks in his career, and it all starts with that get-off. But right here, it doesn't look like he's going to get there. The great pass rushers, though, have an ability to turn the edge, and that's exactly what DeMarcus Ware does. Bring it down.
Omar Bolden takes this putt at the 19, goes right up the middle. Bolden into San Francisco territory at the 47. Fine return by Omar Bolden. Eli Harold making the stop. A first down for Denver in San Francisco territory.
Omar Bolden, Ron, I think it's been pretty clear. He's got a great opportunity. He returns well. He's got a great opportunity to lock down that job both on the kickoffs and the punts. And Omar Bolden doing a really nice job right there of getting positive yards out to the 50.
DeMarcus Ware 14th on the all-time sack list. He needs 7 more to crack the top 10. He'll get it this year. From the San Francisco 48, C.J. Anderson back in the game. That's good news. He's got it. He's across the 45 to the 43. Sharice Wright and Navarro Bowman making the stop.
This is where you want to see the Broncos be able to come out and finish one of these drives. They've started to establish some rhythm, but you got to finish them, and they sorely want to.
That pass is batted down. Darnell Dockett came over as a free agent after 11 years in Arizona, got a hand on it. It'll be 3rd down.
Dockett, a veteran player, didn't get much of a pass rush, and so he says, I'm just going to sit back here, read Peyton's eyes, get my hands up.
Casey the fullback, Anderson the running back. Norwood in the slot. Lobs it out to Norwood, and he's got a first down to the San Francisco 36. Dante Johnson made the stop, and Norwood having some success in that slot jump.
Yeah, very much what we've seen from Wes Welker. You got to be able to win in that slot when people are playing that 2-man. It means man-to-man underneath with 2 safeties over the top. The best way to beat that's in the slot with a quick guy, and Norwood is providing that for the Broncos.
1st and 10 from the 35. Anderson, not much room. He's down. He might have lost a yard. Navarro Bowman made the tackle. Pace of the offense picking up. Peyton's got him right back at the line of scrimmage. Over the middle, Norwood again on the drag inside the 25 to the 24. Johnson again on the stop, but another Denver first down.
Well, Jordan Norwood is just owning Dante Johnson on this series. They're putting him in that same man-to-man underneath. Norwood looks like he's going to go across the field, puts on the brakes, comes right back. Peyton on the money.
Ronnie Hillman across the 20 to the 18.
Ronnie Hillman,
Antoine Bethea right there in the stop. I got to ask you about Jordan Norwood for a second. Are we seeing the emergence of the Broncos slot receiver tonight?
Oh, you hope so. I mean, you need someone to step into that role. They've been looking for it, and he seemed to be providing it here.
Peyton going into the end zone, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by Kenneth Acker, who stepped in front of Demaryius Thomas, and they may say that Acker threw the ball away before he had possession.
I think he did. Now it goes out of the end zone. He had possession, so it should be a touchback. Their ball at the 20.
They were making the preliminary sign was touchback. Now we're going to have a discussion.
We'll see as they sort this out, but again, there's some things to still be worked out. Peyton and Demaryius don't seem to be on the same page. Twice in a row we've seen man-to-man on Demaryius Thomas. That's a matchup you want each and every time, but they're not getting it done.
Interception. The San Francisco player threw the ball out of bounds. Therefore, it is dead. It is a touchback. 1st and 10, San Francisco.
No harm, no foul there. It would have been 1st and 10 anyway. Let's take a look at what you're talking about here.
Well, this is what you want. You want those one-on-one situations. Demaryius Thomas. That's a favorable matchup. Peyton's got to throw that ball outside, or he's expecting Demaryius to come inside. Whatever it is, these guys have not been on the same page. I don't think Demaryius was expecting the ball. I saw that he wasn't running as if he were. But twice in a row, you get that matchup you want. You gotta be able to connect.
But whatever it was, whether the throw was in the wrong place or Demaryius was supposed to go somewhere else, it's clear they're not quite on the same page. Kaepernick, the quarterback, 1st and 10 from the 20. The handoff to Hyde. He gets maybe a yard before Danny Trevathan stands him up, and T.J. Ward finishes him off.
And there's characteristics of really good defenses, and it's one of the basic ones is just hustle. You see Danny Trevathan having a tough time bringing down a big back, but his buddy T.J. Ward's coming full speed, helps clean up that pile.
It's good to see Trevathan and Brandon Marshall together, both in the game for the first time in this preseason. Trevathan showing blitz. Here's the handoff to Hyde. Breaks through the first line. Good run by Carlos Hyde. He's out to the 38 for a 1st down. Bradley Roby and T.J. Ward combined to make the tackle, but it's a 1st down for San Francisco.
And Ron, here I think is the one area of concern for this defense. They're thin up front, and they're smaller up front on the defensive line. Derek Wolf's not going to be here for the first 4 games. Stopping that run, we've seen what they can do when they're in pass rush situations. Can they play the run well enough?
1st and 10 from the 37. Here's Kendall Hunter in the game. Across the 40 to the 41. That was the first down that San Francisco's made tonight. So you think maybe that they may be in the market then for a defensive lineman somewhere along the line?
Yeah, the problem is those guys aren't just hanging out there.
They're not just sitting under trees.
I mean, if they're good, they're going to be on someone's roster. Hopefully you can find someone to pick up, but I think they certainly need a little more depth there.
On 2nd and 7, it's Hunter right up the middle. Trevathan hit him and slowed him up, and in the middle of that line, finished him off. It'll be 3rd and about 4.
It's an old saying in football, you've got to earn the right to rush the passer. And so when you do your good work on 1st and 2nd down, now you can cut Von Miller loose. Now you can cut DeMarcus Ware loose. You see the nice tackle by Danny Trevathan, and that's what you like to see. A lot of hats, a lot of orange around that football.
Trevathan's been active in his first work here in this new season. 3rd and 4. Kaepernick flushed, in trouble, and he throws it away.
You know, Ron, and if you're the opponent of the Denver Broncos right now, you're thinking, okay, we got to break Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware on the sidelines, but here comes Shane Ray, here comes Shaquille Barrett, who gets pressure there continually throughout the preseason. He has 2 sacks. It feels like he has 10. Because he's been all over the quarterback in every game that he's played in.
They've just stopped this 49er offense. Cole Kaepernick 0 for 3 so far. Pinion on to punt. Omar Bolden back at his own 10. And a flag before they could get it off.
False start. Offense. Number 86, snap infraction. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
That one on Kyle Nelson, a backup tight end.
And the long snapper.
And the long snapper.
Sometimes those guys will play with that football to try to do just that, draw them off sides. It worked, but the refs were on top of it. Sometimes they'll squeeze the ball, sometimes they'll give a slight movement.
Bolden's going to let it go. It takes a big high bounce, and it's a San Francisco bounce back towards the Denver 30-yard line. So the Broncos with a field goal and a safety. 5-0 Denver. The answer to tonight's Longmont United Hospital trivia question. Again, the question, which two current Bronco coaches won their first Super Bowl rings as members of the 49ers staff? The answer, Gary Kubiak and Brian Pariani were both on Seifert's staff. George Seifert, that is. Brian was an offensive assistant and Gary was the quarterback's coach. 49ers led the NFL with a club record 505 points over 31 a game.
That offense was lethal. Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, Steve Young, they were just dicing people.
That was a good staff. Time of possession, Denver 15 minutes, San Francisco 7. So Denver's dominated that, and they're throwing a shutout. There's the handoff to C.J. Anderson, ran into his own man. He's going to be thrown for a loss. Michael Wilhoit made the tackle.
You see Gary Kubiak's resume. He obviously was a Broncos quarterback, John Elway's backup for a long time. We talked about him as a quarterback coach. Came back as the offensive coordinator with great success here in Denver. A couple Super Bowls, down to the Texans, another year with the Baltimore Ravens, back as a coordinator, and now back as the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
Broncos starters remain in. Second down and 11. Manning dumps it off to C.J. Anderson. Across the 30 to the 32, Dante Johnson making the tackle. It would be third and about 5.
Well, C.J., in talking to him this week, he said Peyton told him this week, get ready to catch some balls. The check down was going to be there. But it was neat talking to C.J. about the relationship with Peyton. He said this week he told me he trusted me. He said that was big. When you have Peyton Manning say, you're all right now, I trust you. It was a big moment for C.J. Anderson.
Big accomplishment for C.J. Anderson. On third down. Peyton throws it to Owen Daniels, and he's got enough for a first down. Sharice Wright knocked him out, but Denver keeps possession.
Nice accurate football by Peyton to the flat. Owen Daniels, really solid job of bringing that ball in.
Owen Daniels should have a pretty big year in this offense.
Very tight end friendly offense, and he really gives you a good mix. Very adept at receiving the ball, but also a good offensive blocker in the run game.
Number 4 of 7 on third downs. Manning over the middle, and Andre Caldwell. A fine catch in San Francisco territory. First down at the Niner 47.
Well, Peyton has always felt comfortable with Andre Caldwell. He likes what he does, and here you see that trust. Just throwing to a spot is Peyton Manning, up over the linebackers, and a beautiful catch by Andre Caldwell. See Peyton working under center in the pocket, stepping up, throwing a really nice ball. Andre Caldwell with a big post route, 57-yard touchdown at Houston last week. Another fine catch.
They mark it at the 46, and it looked like the Niners may have jumped offside. Eli Harold, 58, looked like he
Neutral
jumped.
zone infraction. Defense number 58. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Broncos up 5-0 and moving.
Really impressive by Sambraio. Watch him right here. Now, if he jumps and gets back, no penalty, but Sambraio, a vet move, he jumps off sides, go ahead and move. Now you got the defensive encroachment on them. Sambraio continues to impress with his play and with his maturity.
We talked to him yesterday for about 15 minutes. John and I were both impressed with him as Anderson gets across the 40 to the 38. Corey Lemonnier on the tackle.
It's a daunting task for Ty Sambrailo. You're replacing an all-pro tackle in Ryan Clady, and you're protecting the blind side of Peyton Manning. It was funny, you asked him, Ron, you had any of those moments with, Peyton Manning's your quarterback, you're protecting. He said, I did. Last week in Houston, I got in the huddle, I said, oh my gosh, I'm blocking for Peyton Manning.
Hey, we both liked him. He was fun. He was honest. that he didn't fight the rookie haircut, had the long hair. He's now got the shaved head. Here's the toss to Anderson. Hit hard, and down he goes to 38, Navarro Bowman, who is having a sensational first half, trying to make up for the last 19 months that he's missed.
He's back. My goodness.
Big hit.
What a football player. This is how you play the middle linebacker position. You watch Navarro Bowman flowing inside out, and boom, finishing with bad intentions.
You love that, don't you?
I do.
That was your MO, right? I mean, bad intentions. From the shotgun. Anderson's got it, and he's got a first down to the San Francisco 32. And we talked about it. C.J. Anderson's going to be a pass catcher as well in this offense. Getting plenty of work tonight.
Yeah, he is. You're seeing more blitzing from the San Francisco 49ers under their new defensive coordinator, Eric Mangini. Peyton sees the blitz come, gets it out to his outlet in the flat, C.J. Anderson.
One of the Niners is down. We got a timeout with Denver out in front.
Well, Dante Johnson is the injured 49er, and this looks like rush hour in L.A. A lot of traffic with that bunch set, and little Niner-on-Niner crime right there. Antoine Bethea runs right into the gut of Dante Johnson. He says, come on, man, you're supposed to hit them.
Antoine Bethea, hard hitter for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Dante Johnson having a rough time out there. Jordan Norwood's turning him around. Now his own teammates are hitting him.
Jordan Norwood's one of the big stories of this first half in the slot, doing a pretty good Wes Welker impression.
There he is right there.
Cody Latimer's been in the game a lot, but it's Norwood that's getting targeted. Here's Ronnie Hillman with a big hole up the middle. Hillman to the San Francisco 21 and another Denver first down.
Now, we talked about Evan Mathis coming in, but watch Max Garcia right there. That's a tremendous job. And, you know, everybody from John Elway to Gary Kubiak went out of their way to say, look, that's no reflection on the way Max Garcia is playing. They found a really good young player at guard. Evan Mathis just has that experience, but Max Garcia playing well.
11 yards for Ronnie Hillman, who continues to impress in this Bronco preseason. Peyton drops it off on a drag for Demaryius Thomas inside the 10, down to the 1. They're going to call him out, though. They're going to say he stepped out at the 5. Eric Reed ran him out, but a connection from Manning to DT.
Well, you see the hard play action. Now, when you're running the football effectively, that starts opening up. You see the athleticism of Sombraio and Garcia. And Demaryius Thomas goes in there with the big boys, says, I think I'll run back outside. So to see Demaryius go in, he sees the traffic coming. He says, let me go, and turns on the jets.
The left foot was out at the 5. We're at the 2-minute warning. Denver knocking on the door. Stay tuned during halftime of tonight's game for the 9 News Halftime Report. A quick look at today's headlines with news and weather from Colorado's news leader, 9 News. The 9 News Halftime Report brought to you by Hyundai. C.J. Anderson, 12 carries, 47 yards. Ronnie Hillman, 3 carries, 20 yards. Peyton Manning, 14 of 19 for 124. First and goal for Denver at the San Francisco 5. Manning under center. Here comes the rush, throws over and incomplete. Was looking for Cody Latimer.
Well, Peyton Manning checking out. They had a run play called. He saw all the 49ers loaded up in that box. Tries to go with the hard play action, but the 49ers doing a nice job of staying on their keys. Good coverage by Will Hoyt.
Second down and goal. The Broncos with trips receivers to the top of your screen. Thomas, Norwood, and Latimer. Here's the handoff to CJ. He's down to the 2. And there is a whistle and a timeout. Hank Carradine there,
Charge timeout.
along with Eli
San
Harold on the
Francisco.
tackle.
30-second timeout.
Jim Tomsula trying to stop this clock so he can get Colin Kaepernick the ball one more time. The opportunity to run that 2-minute drill. Now, if you're the Broncos, I think this is going to be the last drive. I would think particularly if they score. So much of this is just going into the season feeling really good about your last effort. These guys, a lot of these guys won't play in that 4th preseason game. Be really good for their spirits to punch it in here with the touchdown.
Coming up on Monday at 7 o'clock on Channel 20, a special documentary called The Great Divide. Look at the past, present, and future of water in Colorado. In a time of mounting demand and limited supply, this special program will explore the timeless influence water has in our state. 3rd and goal. Manning, incomplete, was looking for Cody Latimer. And Kenneth Acker on the coverage. The Broncos will settle for 3.
Yeah, and quite frankly, that's a ball Cody Latimer you got to go get. You got to go catch that ball strongly. The ball's on the money. Gary Kubiak, I think, made it clear he wants a little more from Cody Latimer stepping into that 3rd wide receiver role. That's a ball you should catch, and Peyton Manning paying for it. By Jaquaski Tart, a player that they're very high on in San Francisco, a rookie out of Sanford.
This will be a 21-yard attempt by McManus. He's already got one from 37. And this one is good, and the Broncos stretch the lead to 8-0.
Look at Ron. I think if you're evaluating, the positives are that they've been moving the football down the field. The negatives are going to be that you got to finish drives. You got to finish them with touchdowns. And I think you're seeing a couple of things. You're seeing a unit playing together for the first time. You've seen a couple of times guys not being on the same page. They're in a new system. Peyton's been being rested often. Demarius held out. So you're starting to see, you just see a little bit of rust. And you're seeing a guy like Cody Latimer who needs to emerge for them to be successful. I think some missed opportunities in this first half, but all in all, some positive signs as well.
I think you make some good points there. 13 plays, 67 yards on that drive. Guys show up, and sometimes on the depth chart, it's not etched in stone. Jordan Norwood tonight, advancing his opportunities. Cody Latimer's played a lot, hasn't really connected.
And I think the other thing, this offensive line continues to play well, this first unit, and that the youngsters on the left side, Sambrailo and Max Garcia, holding up very well. Matt Paradis continues to impress, and Vasquez and Chris Harris holding up on that right side.
McManus will kick off. Bruce Ellington is back 8 yards deep in his end zone. He stepped out of the end zone. He wanted to return it, but stepped out of the back of the end zone. So San Francisco will take over on their 20.
Well, this defense throughout this preseason, they've been wreaking havoc on offenses and quarterbacks in particular. You see the physical tackle by Aqib Talib. DeMarcus Ware with the safety all over Colin Kaepernick. This defense, they have come to play this preseason, and the prospects for this kind of season could be a special year in Denver on the defensive side of the ball.
Shaquille Barrett and Shane Ray are in the game. Is that run by Kendall Hunter barely gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Look at those pass yards allowed, -13. Wade Phillips has got to be loving that. They've got a lot of weapons. They've got some star power in Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, Shane Ray, that can just beat you one-on-one. They've also got a defensive coordinator who is very, very adept at confusing quarterbacks. It's a great combination they have here in Denver on defense.
Sure is. The Bronco Health and Wellness Expo presented by UC Health and Children's Authority Fields. Free to the public. You can meet and greet Bronco players, cheerleaders, 9 news anchors, and reporters, play games, get cooking and wellness demos, and get tips on how to create a healthy lifestyle. For more information, go to broncos.com/health and wellness. Here's the handoff to Hunter. He's got some room up to the 25, to the 26, where Brandon Marshall makes the stop, a pickup of 7. It'll be 3rd and about 4.
You know, Ron, I played on a defense in Tampa Bay that had a ferocious pass rush, and these are the things you start to see. Here we are in a 2-minute drill, and they've had 2 runs. It's because they don't want their franchise quarterback getting hit, and that they can't block them right now. And
yeah, you're right.
It's
you did play in a great defense. I mean, you talk about a pass rush. You had Warren Sapp in there.
Simeon Rice.
Derek
Brooks, Rondé Barber, Blitzen. I mean, it was Greg Spires. There were some great players on that defense, Hall of Fame players.
Bronco defense, a lot of young guys like Danny Trevathan making a name for himself. Von Miller's already made that name. Shane Ray may want to add his name to the list. Who knows how good Shaquille Barrett will be.
He's had a very, very good preseason.
3rd and 4 from the 26.
Shaquille Barrett coming off the corner.
Barrett and Shane Ray on the edges. Here they come. Kaepernick breaks a tackle. He's got a 1st down. Great run by Kaepernick all the way out to the 44. Trevathan finally makes the stop, but a 17-yard gain and a 1st down.
Well, that's the element that Colin Kaepernick brings to the table. Malik Jackson looks like he's going to bring him down. He steps away and gets big yardage. What an athlete he is.
From the shotgun on 1st down, Kaepernick. And it's incomplete. He was looking for Torrey Smith. The ball didn't get there.
I think the Broncos had 12 on the field. They ran someone in late, confused on the substitution, and they are going to get him for 12.
Men. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
So Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware are done for the night.
Well, they're ready.
They're ready to go.
Just get them ready for
They're
week
done
1.
for the preseason.
Yes.
I'm sure.
No doubt about it.
Next time we see them will be 2 weeks from tomorrow night. It's a heck of an opener. Ball's at midfield where it's 1st and 5. Minute to go in this 1st half. Kaepernick steps up, he'll take off. Big hole for Colin Kaepernick. Finally run out of bounds by Stewart at the Bronco 17-yard line. A 33-yard scamper by Kaepernick, and that's what he can do.
Yeah, he can. Jim Harbaugh once told me that Bill Walsh told him when you recruit a quarterback, when you go get a quarterback, you want to get the best athlete at the school. And that's what they went and got in Colin Kaepernick. Just a fantastic athlete. You give him space, green grass, he'll take it, and he can cover a lot of ground in a hurry.
49ers trying to get back in this game, down 8-0. Kaepernick looks, and it's incomplete. Kayvon Webster was there on the coverage of Anquan Bolden, the great veteran receiver. 2nd down. 45 seconds to go in the half. Bolden, one of the tough physical receivers in the NFL.
Great player. Great player. Been doing it for a long time. In his 13th year, last year, in his 12th year, had 83 receptions, over 1,000 yards. Tough, hard-nosed, old-school football player.
Quentin Patton, number 11, is the 3rd receiver in there. He's in motion.
Delay of game. Offense number 7. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's the look of a man who knows he's got his work cut out for him.
I think everybody talking about the 49ers' demise. I see a better football team. A lot of people saying 3-4 wins. I see a team right about 500.
That's what they were last year. Kaepernick has Patton. He's inside the 15, but a good open field tackle by Talib. It'll be third down.
Another characteristic of a really good defense is just that. So much of football is played in space today. A lot of space here for Patton, but Aqib Talib comes to balance, then attacks the legs and doesn't let him go.
On third down, Kaepernick's got time, dumps it out to Torrey Smith. He's going to be hit down at the 7. Kayvon Webster's got him. It's going to be short as we've got a man down. I think it's Omar Bolden who is down.
They're going to get Vernon Davis.
And we've got a flag
personal
down.
foul. Yeah, Vernon Davis just took Omar Bolden out on a peel back block.
Broncos have been fortunate in 2.5 games so far. No major injuries.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 81, 15-yard penalty, the down counts, fourth down.
And that's on Anquan Bolden, who doesn't like the call.
Okay, here's Bolden right here. Oh, it is Anquan Bolden who comes in there after the play. I told you he's a tough, hard-nosed player. That I think a good call by the officials, unnecessary by Anquan Bolden.
So you thought it was a touch late and unnecessary.
10 years ago, okay.
10 years ago,
These
fine.
days you breathe on them, you're probably getting a letter from the NFL.
It's a different game. It's good to see Omar is sitting up, but you're right. I mean, it's just a different game.
I want to be clear, though. Anquan Bolden, he's always been a tough, hard-nosed player, but never been a cheap player.
It's usually the defensive players taking the shot. This was Anquan Bolden getting the shot on a DB. Wow. Yeah, that's really whether it's late or not, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
That's just unnecessary.
But my old teammate Nick Ferguson up in the booth, what we used to say is head on the swivel. Yeah, there's a little responsibility for yourself. You get that head on the swivel. Because when you run and just think, all right, I'm going to go cruise over here, someone's trying to hunt you down. It's good to see Omar Bolden up.
So the 49ers are going to attempt a field goal with the veteran kicker Phil Dawson. It'll be a 41-yard attempt. Dawson in his 17th year out of Texas. Niners trying to get on the board here at the end of the first half. Kick is on its way, and it is good. So Phil Dawson has given the 49ers their first score with 7 seconds left in this first half. Take a look at the Broncos' first half schedule, and it is challenging.
It sure is. I mean, you're opening with Baltimore, a very good football team. Kansas City's an improved team.
On a short week, but you got to play on Thursday night.
Watch out for Detroit. Detroit has been slowly getting better. They're more disciplined under Jim Caldwell. Minnesota's a team that many people are saying is a dark horse that could surprise.
Teddy Bridgewater looking better. They get Adrian Peterson back. And then the second half, the big one there in New England.
Not going to be easy because this division's getting better. I think both San Diego, Kansas City, inching closer to the Denver Broncos, and Jack Del Rio will have the Raiders playing more disciplined football. They're a better football team than they've been. They're not going to be just a walkover anymore.
But the Broncos clearly the favorites to win their 5th consecutive AFC West title.
No doubt, and they should be.
Isaiah Burse, after the injury to Bolden, is back deep. And he will run this kickoff back. And down he goes at the 19-yard line. Steve Berhanis making the tackle with 1 second.
And Ron, it may be a situation, we're seeing the defense play such great football in this preseason. It's not that the offense has been bad, but certainly not clicking like we've seen this Denver offense. It may be a situation where that defense is going to have to carry him and limit opponents early on while this offense catches up. I really believe it will, but it may take some time.
It's hard to believe because for 3 years we're used to this, just unbelievable offense, setting all kinds of records, scoring tons of points. Last play of the first half. Nice hole by Ronnie Hillman. Out to the 30. And that will be it for the first half. A half where once again Denver's defense has been dominant.
Excellent. This defense, I'm telling you, you get in these pass rush situations, these quarterbacks are going to be nervous because they can come at you from a lot of different directions.
Denver out in front at the half by a score of 8-3. Let's go down to the sidelines and Rod Mackey. Rod?
Ron, thank you. Your defense continues to impress. They look ready for the regular season.
Yeah, we're flying around making a lot of plays. Got the safety there. Offensively move the ball again. We got to make the plays to finish drives,
Yeah, that's the thing. Your offense, you're moving the football, but again, you're just not getting it in the end.
3 sacks and a couple of got to play a lot better, but we're going to look at our second group here in the second half.
With that said, so you've seen enough of Payton and everything. We'll see the backups.
Played over 40 plays, so that was the goal, to play a lot of plays, and so offensively and defensively, so we'll look at our second group.
Appreciate it, Gary. Okay. Thank you. By the way, guys, Omar Bolden, wind knocked out of him. He is fine.
That's good news. But it wasn't anything more than the wind knocked out of him. We are at halftime. Payton done for the half, as you heard Gary Kubiak say. A dominant performance by the Denver defense. They are out in front. The Broncos are 8-3 at halftime. Ron Zappolo and John Lynch back at Sports Authority Field at Mile High with the Broncos out in front of the 49ers 8-3 at halftime. If you joined us late, the Broncos, John, had some opportunities to score a little more than that, but just couldn't connect.
Yeah, they moved the ball well, so there are some positives, but you got to finish drives in this league, and this is exactly what you want. A one-on-one with Demaryius Thomas. You take that matchup all day long. Not a well-placed ball by Peyton Manning. Later on, Cody Latimer. The Niners bring the blitz. Peyton delivers to Latimer right in his hands. That's a ball Cody Latimer's got to get. So those are those missed opportunity that Gary Kubiak alluded to. But here's something that is just unbelievably positive and has been. The pass rush from these Denver Broncos. You see Von Miller. You see the physical play of Aqib Talib. This defense is starting to play with an attitude that dominant defenses have. DeMarcus Ware with the sack, just harassing Colin Kaepernick. This defense, we talked about it in the open, have an opportunity to do something special, and they may need to early in the year to keep this team above as they adjust to this new offense.
It's hard to imagine, but look at the passing yards for the 49ers. As much as you and I have in the first half. That's just incredible.
This pass rush, I'm telling you, I think they got the perfect coordinator in Wade Phillips because he's got so many weapons at his disposal and just employing these guys all over. And then when you aren't blitzing, just say, go get him, Vaughn. Go get him, DeMarcus.
It's the way to do it. Those first half stats brought to you by Verizon. The 49ers won the toss. They deferred, so they will get the ball here to start the second half. Bruce Ellington is deep. Spencer Lanning, brought in here a couple weeks ago, competing with Britton Colquitt. He'll kick off. Ball blows off the tee. It is a little windy. We will, in this third quarter, speak with John Elway.
He's going to come hang out. We'll hear his impressions of the first half.
He's right in the booth next door. I just ran into him back there. He seemed to think things were okay. He wasn't dancing his way over here, but I think he was. I think he was pleased with what he saw.
What a great signing for John and the Broncos this week, though. We're talking about how well Garcia's playing. But Evan Mathis, you get an opportunity to get a player like that. It doesn't happen that an offensive lineman of his talent and caliber and experience is out there. And he was, and the Broncos, credit to them, went after him aggressively and landed him, and he's going to add a lot to that offensive line.
That he is. We talked to him yesterday. We were both came away very impressed. Stewart holds, and the kick is 8 yards deep, where Bruce Ellington will bring it back. Out across the 20 to the 23, where Josh Bush for the Broncos makes the tackle. Colin Kaepernick is done for the evening. Blaine Gabbert.
Holding. Receiving team number 63. Half distance at the goal. San Francisco keeps the ball. First down.
Call is on the 49ers. Gabbert, the 5-year man from Missouri, started with Jacksonville, spent the last couple years over here, and he is the 49er backup quarterback.
Having a really good preseason, too. He's 14 of 17 with a touchdown pass. Really playing well for the 49ers. You know, I found it amusing, Evan Mathis talking about how he's getting himself acclimated and learning the system. He said, you know, growing up in school, I was a professional crammer, so I'm skills learning. The offensive line coach.
Never heard that before. Professional crammer. Kendall Hunter is the running back. Garrett Selleck's the tight end. Quentin Patton and DeAndrew White the wide receivers. Hunter's got it on first down, nowhere to go. Shane Ray's got him wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage.
You know, Shane Ray, one thing, we've talked about his pass rush ability, but watch him play the run, and he did it a great job versus the Houston Texans last week as well. Shane Ray doing a really nice job of using his hands. We don't have the replay, but showing something in the run game as well as what he's known for, his pass rush skills.
Here's the handoff to Hunter again, across the 5, out to about the 7-yard line.
Ron, I think such an advantage for Shane Ray in that he doesn't have to come in here and play 50 snaps from day one. They've got DeMarcus Ware, they've got Von Miller. He can come in on third down situations and cut it loose. And I think that ability just to let him go get people, go get quarterbacks, is going to really serve him well.
On third down, the Niners decide to run it, and Darius Kilgo making back-to-back tackles. The good-looking nose tackle who looks like he's got the team made, and he'll back up Sylvester Williams.
Well, and it's been huge that Darius Kilgo has come on and played well. 2 sacks in the preseason. I mean, even with Derek Wolfe, I think that's the one concern, the depth on this defensive line. Kilgo making that not such a big matter, though, with his play this preseason.
Tonight's third quarter Down and Distance brought to you by DraftKings. Play weekly fantasy football for free, win cash prizes. Welcome to the big time. Get to DraftKings.com right now. Bruce Pinion backed up there in his end zone. Isaiah Burse bobbles it at the 50, gets it back, and down he goes at the 49er 43. So the Broncos, when we come back, will take over in San Francisco territory. And we are back, and we are pleased to be joined by the man who put this Denver Bronco team together, John Elway. Great to have you up here for a few minutes, and your general overall impressions of the preseason up to now.
You know, I think it's been good. There's always a bit of a transition that we've talked about with a new staff, and so, you know, obviously we're playing pretty good on defense up to this point in time.
So.
And you know, offensively we're doing some good things. We just haven't been able to close many of the situations, but it's a work in progress.
Got Brock Osweiler in the game here on first down. The handoff to Juwan Thompson, pickup of about 3 to the 40.
John, one thing that continues to show up, you know, this offensive line, a lot of people concerned when Ryan Clady goes down. Sombrilo and Max Garcia-Paredes, they've come in and they've done a nice job.
You know, they really have. You know, they've got the right mentality. They're athletic. They're tough. And so, you know, coming up as rookies, the game's not too big for them. And so it's really good to see that. They're going to, you know, continue to get better too.
2nd and 7. Brock Osweiler, who's had a good preseason so far. Play action. Looking downfield, throws to Thompson. He's got it At the 35, it'll be 3rd and 2. You signed Devin Mathis this week. I think everybody's excited about that. Did that happen quickly, or was that something you had thought about for the last few weeks?
You know, we'd kind of gotten the game. We knew Evan was out there, so we'd made we made an offer, probably 2-3 weeks ago just to get in the game because we knew eventually he was going to come back. And so, we were able to stay in there, and we're lucky that we were able to work something out with Evan because he's obviously got a great deal of experience, and we'll help that left side, and we're looking forward to having him in there.
3rd and short for Denver. Andre Caldwell in the game. Osweiler throws to Virgil Green. That's a first down inside the 30 to the 29.
John, we were talking out in the hallway before. I think one of the positives out of tonight's game and throughout camp, Jordan Norwood. Wes Welker's not here anymore, and that slot's so key in today's football, the way people are playing you guys.
It really is, and we got a lot of man coverage. You get that bump man. As you know, John, you got to have those guys, the little quick guys that can beat that man coverage, and that's where Jordan really excels. He's got great quickness and speed and does a good job getting open in those situations.
1st and 10 for Denver. Some movement on the right side, play action, and this one will be stopped. You've worked with Peyton Manning now for 4 years. Is he getting more comfortable with the idea of getting more rest because he's a guy that wants to take every snap of every practice of everything you do?
I think he is. We haven't really talked about it, but I think he is. He's it's just the way he's built, and so for him to have to sit out of practice, I know it's hard for him, but in the long run, it's good for him.
When you offense number 85, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Calls on Virgil Green, but when you talk to him, isn't it different than anybody else talking to him because of who you are and what you went through near the end of your career?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a good relationship, and we do talk a lot of philosophy when it comes down to football and where he is. And I think that, he's a guy that's on his own plan too. And I think that, with him coming in, Gary coming in, they've got along very well and hit it off too. So he does need to take that time off.
One to Jordan Taylor. Reeser made the tackle. You almost did a little play-by-play there.
I know
it. John, you talked about it. You lived that with Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak late in your career when you guys were winning Super Bowls. They had a plan very similar, giving you a little rest. Where did you see it pay dividends?
I think that, it doesn't pay dividends in training camp. When it pays dividends is in December and January, and especially when your body, you're 37, 38, and 39 like Peyton is now. You got to play for the long run and can't get overtired because you're not going to get it. You can't catch up, and so it's to make sure that we try to keep them as fresh as we can into December.
2nd and 17. Osweiler's got time. He's going to dump it out to Ronnie Hillman. Hillman's down at the 37. Ronnie Hillman's had a great camp.
He really has. He's playing with a lot of confidence, and he's that change of pace back for us. He's got great speed and that outside zone. He can really get it outside and has got the ability. So he puts the pressure on the defense.
Hey, Brock Osweiler, is this where you're doing a lot of your evaluation, games like this?
It's big for Brock. Obviously, the good thing is Peyton's been able to play the 4 years. The bad thing is, Brock's been here for those 3 years, 3 of the 4 years, and so he hasn't had a chance to play. But it's great experience for Brock, and he's had a good camp so far. So excited about him.
That one's knocked down. Bring up a 4th down. Now, you never had any problems with your fingertips. I like what you said this week. If you could have thrown for that many yards, you wouldn't have minded.
I wish I would have had numb fingers. I'd have taken that 55.
Well, hey, there were a few games you played in cold weather where you had.
They were, no, that's true. That is true.
Well, it's a 55-yard attempt from Brandon McManus. There's another good story, John, and a summer full of good stories. You're confident enough to hand this man the job.
Yeah, and we traded for him last year, and we know he's got a real strong leg. It's just a matter of some maturation and some confidence, and he's had a tremendous camp, as you said, and he's got a lot of confidence. So hopefully he can put this one through there.
Well, he hit one from 70 in practice. This one from 55, and it is just short. Broncos, you put together. Really looking forward to this season. Thanks for coming in, John.
Oh, my pleasure. It's good to see you, Johnny.
Thanks,
good to see you, and Ron. Thank you.
You
and
bet,
yeah,
John.
we are excited about it. It's we feel like we got a good football team. We got a chance to compete. We continue to take strides and play like we're capable of. We got a chance.
John Elway. We'll be back. Denver's out in front. Ron Zappolo and John Lynch back in Denver. We thank John Elway for giving us a little time here. I think he's excited too.
I think he is. He loves having Gary Kubiak back here. I mean, look, they sat in that quarterback room for years and years. He knows him. He trusts him. He knows exactly what he's getting in him, and I think he feels he's the perfect guy for the job.
After the missed field goal, the Niners have it on their 45. Little play action. It's Gabbert to Bell out to the 50, where he's wrapped up by Steven Johnson after a gain of 5. Pretty good numbers there for John as the GM. Way up there in all the rankings of most wins, overall wins, playoff wins, division titles. About as good as it gets.
You know, one of the things about John, being around him a lot, he's very, very smart, but I think he's so talented at not overcomplicating things. You look at his first couple moves, go get Peyton Manning and go draft Von Miller.
Shane Ray may have jumped or it may have been drawn off. We'll see.
Start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And Ron, so much of it is from his experience. He was a franchise quarterback, so he knows what that can do for a team, and he knows, having played quarterback, when you got the guys that can knock the quarterback down, that makes your football team real good in a hurry.
That's right. That call was on Joe Looney, the center. Good moves to get Peyton Manning and Von Miller with your first two moves. Gabbert, the quick throw to DeAndrew White. He's across the 50. Todd Davis has him wrapped up at the Denver 49.
One of the pluses of Danny Trevathan and Brandon Marshall having been hurt this entire offseason is that Todd Davis and Steven Johnson, who we've seen make the last couple of tackles, have gotten so many valuable reps. So sometimes an injury to some key players, it also increases your depth because other guys get thrust into positions.
3rd and 3 for San Francisco. Gabbert complete, and that's a first down to Garrett Selleck.
Well, Blaine Gabbert, high draft choice down in Jacksonville. It didn't go so well, but he's having a fine preseason. This is a big league throw right here, down the seam, on the money. Blaine Gabbert having a really, really nice preseason for the 49ers.
David Bruton made the stop. That's the biggest pass play of the game for the 49ers. 1st and 10 from the Denver 26. High snap. And the handoff to Davis. He's across the 25 to about the 23. Mike Davis stopped by the middle of that Denver defensive line. Darius Kilgo in the middle of a lot of this.
The thing that they've been pleased about with Kilgo, not only can he back up Sylvester Williams at the nose tackle, he's got some versatility. They can play him as a 3-4 defensive end. He's going to be asked to play a lot of plays early in the season with Derek Wolfe out in particular.
2nd and 6. This is Kendall Hunter, no room outside. Kayvon Webster hit him first. And then Steven Johnson.
Watch Kayvon Webster come to support this. You see him right there, 36. Watch him come into the picture. A big tight end come in. You come submarine his legs and make the tackle. Big play for Kayvon Webster.
3rd down and 4. Bad snap. Gabbert picks it up. Shaquille Barrett's on him. And along with Bruton, they've got him back at the 32. It started with a bad snap, but Shaquille Barrett has just had a tremendous preseason.
You want to find Shaquille Barrett, find the quarterback for the opposing team. The bad snap does help, but this is speed, and you can't teach it, and when you have it, it's a lethal combination. The Broncos have it on this defense, and it's impressive to watch, to say the least.
Niners going to try a 50-yard field goal. This is a rookie, Corey Acosta, number 4, a rookie from Southern Miss, from 50. It is good. Wind at his back, but he got it. And the Niners are getting closer. Tonight's Bronco Flashback brought to you by Sports Authority. Last year, a record-breaking season for Peyton Manning, but October 19th was the night he passed Brett Favre for the all-time passing touchdowns record. It came on a 3rd and 8 as Peyton found Demaryius Thomas for his 509th touchdown. He now stands at 530 and holds upwards of 40 individual records.
Is that ridiculous? I mean,
it is.
530 touchdowns, 69,000 passing yards. It's just unbelievable.
Kicks out of the end zone. When you go through all his records and you read them out loud, it's fantasy land. We got to take a break. Broncos out in front 8-6 here in the 3rd quarter.
Welcome back to Sports Authority Field in Mile High. Broncos on top of the 49ers 8-6. Vaughn Miller joining us now. And these 4 preseason games, sort of a waste of time for you. You're ready. You don't need these things.
I mean, I wouldn't say they're a waste of time. Whenever you go out there and get work against a great team, you know, it's worth the time. So, I enjoy playing the preseason, not like the regular season. No, I'm ready for the regular season coming up.
I think you were ready off the bat. You got a strip sack on the 2nd play from scrimmage at game number 1. You get another sack in the 1st series here tonight. But I know you like the competition, and you got to get a safety because your guy, DeMarcus Ware, got a safety. You don't have one.
No, I don't have a safety yet. I wait for end season to get that. Safety, I wait for the strip sack in the end zone.
How much fun is this? Because every play, there's a different guy getting out of after the quarterback for you guys.
Oh, it's great, man. It's great. I think it started with Coach Phillips, you know. His personality in there, the way he goes about handling all the guys it's world class. And you could just tell it on the field and in practice. You know, we all go out there, we play for each other. And I think it starts from up there. You know, we're going to be ready to go.
I look at the clock with about 9 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter, and you and DeMarcus are already done. You'd like a little more work, or you're all right? You're ready for the Ravens? Just take it easy till then.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more work. I was expecting to go to the 3rd quarter today. So, you know, that's what I was expecting. You know, it's kind of, you know, disappointing when you expect something you don't get it. But, you know, it's preseason. I'll be ready to go for the 1st game.
Final thing for you, Vaughn, just the pushing of the other player. Kind of just joked about it with DeMarcus, but you guys are serious about that. You see one guy do something, you want to do it better.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the competition level that we got in the locker room. We got a lot of personalities in there, and, you know, we all want a piece in the action when we get it.
Vaughn, been fun watching you. Can't wait for the regular season. Appreciate it.
Thanks for gigging.
All right, guys, back up to you. Got the gig 'em in.
The great Vaughn Miller. He's ready to go. Holding call there on Gino Gradkowski. The Broncos have their 2nd team offensive linemen in there. Schofield, Smith, Garland, Gradkowski, and Chris Clark. All in the game and will probably go the rest of the way. Osweiler's got time. He dumps it out to Ronnie Hillman. Hillman breaks a tackle, gets out to the 20.
Tell you got to commend Vaughn Miller. You know, tremendous player. But you can tell this year he took care of business. He came in shape from day 1 in training camp. He's just been dominant. And I'm telling you, I don't like making predictions, but I'm seeing 20 sacks for Vaughn Miller. He's unstoppable right now, and you got so many other weapons, it's going to be hard to double him.
Yeah, Vaughn Miller heading into that territory where offensive coordinators have to know where he is at all times and chip him, use a tight end. Can't put anybody one-on-one. Here's Osweiler on 3rd down, dumps it far short of a 1st down. Juwan Thompson made the catch at the Denver 24. Shane Scove made the tackle, and the Broncos will have to punt. Spencer Lanning will get a chance.
Punting to Jared Hayne, the Australian rugby player who's been lighting up the preseason for the 49ers.
He had a big return night a week ago against Dallas. Jared Hayne, number 38, the rugby player. What a story.
Discovered on YouTube.
That's right. Getting his first shot tonight. From the 33. Hayne cuts it up inside, a return at 10 out to the 43. Joe Don Duncan made the tackle. So the Niners have gotten closer. They're down by 2 here late in the 3rd.
Well, these days they're finding football players everywhere, and Jared Hayne, impressive numbers these preseason. Incredible to me that a month ago he had never played American football because he's been playing this down in Australia for the Parramatta Eels in Australia.
Very good, John.
Trit Balky, the GM, says someone presented him to us. We saw him on YouTube, and That's the Hain plane is his patented move, but he's playing. Punt returner, he's been valuable. 9 yards a carry as a running back.
We may see him as a running back before the night's over. Gabbert hands it off to Mike Davis on first down. He's out to about the 48. Kilgo on the bottom of the pile, along with Shaquille Barrett. Gabbert dumps it out to Blake Bell. He's got a first down and more. He's into Denver territory to the 39. David Bruton made the stop, and it's another first down for San Francisco.
Blake Bell, the former Oklahoma quarterback, Oklahoma University, sneaks out on a little swap boot, they call it. He comes across the formation. Blaine Gabbert continues to be sharp in the preseason for the 49ers.
The handoff to Davis. Got good running room inside the 30, down to the 28. Bruton made the tackle, and it is another San Francisco first down. Mike Davis, a rookie, one of their fourth-round picks out of South Carolina. And now here's Hain in the game. He's got it, and he is stood up by Shaquille Barrett, and he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage.
I think the one thing that Jared Hain will learn, and is learning quickly, and in that rugby, they run fairly erect, and unless you're Eric Dickerson, that doesn't work in this league. You give guys the chest, they're going to take it. You got to lower that pad level a little bit, but he's strong, he's fast. He's got a real good shot at making this team in San Fran.
Stays in the game. He's out on a pass pattern. Gabbert looking for him, but it's incomplete. He overthrew him. Steven Johnson was there on the coverage. Yeah, I mean, other than Eric Dickerson, nobody runs straight up.
Adrian Peterson a little bit. He kind of mimics, but those are two special guys now, Adrian Peterson and Eric Dickerson.
Hain is 6'2", 220 pounds. 3rd and 10 for the Niners. Gabbert over the middle. He's got Ellington, and Ellington's down to the 20. He's going to be short by about a yard of a first down. Bruton made the tackle. And the Niners are sending on the field goal team. The rookie Corey Acosta, who hit from 50, will have a much shorter kick this time, about 38 yards. And this is for the Niners to take their first lead of the evening. And they do. Acosta from 38 yards, and San Francisco takes the lead. Costa's a rookie out of Southern Miss. Phil Dawson, the veteran.
I tell you, guys like that, when you get an opportunity in these games, Acosta, what he's doing, Phil Dawson, veteran, done it for a long time. They got a lot of faith in him, but he's making it a competition and certainly getting the other teams in the league. Anyone who needs a kicker now, this kid just 2 impressive kicks.
Each week, Broncos Tonight is your home for the most complete game day highlights, revealing player interviews, analysis, and insight from inside the huddle to inside the locker room. Catch Broncos Tonight with Drew Soicher, Mike Kliss, and Rod Mackey every Sunday night at 10:35 only on 9 News.
Well, we saw the first unit, offensive unit for the Denver Broncos, move the football, not be able to finish drives. The second unit hasn't even moved it. Brock Osweiler to come out and have some success here on this next drive.
Pinion kicking off to Isaiah Burse, and it's out of the end zone, so Denver will take over with a few seconds left in this third quarter. Of course, the Broncos have to cut down here. And you can see the date, this Tuesday, they got to go from 90 to 75, and then a few days later, they have to get to 53.
It's a lot of football players and a tight competition. I think, other than 3 or 4 spots, most of it is pretty obvious. But those 3 or 4 spots, you got guys battling, and a lot of it's going to be the work they do tonight and then as far as next Thursday against the Arizona Cardinals.
In those 3 or 4 spots, they'll be cutting some guys that can play in the NFL. Juwan Thompson's the running back. Osweiler, play action with time, throws it out to Thompson. Juwan's out to the 29. He's ridden out again by Sean Lemon and Barnhardt.
And this is really nice for Brock Osweiler. Gary Kubiak talks a lot about his feet in good position, throws an accurate football. I thought that's what got away from Brock a little bit in Houston last week, the accuracy with the way he threw.
We have played 3 quarters here in Denver. The Broncos now trailing. Health and Wellness Expo presented by UC Health and Children's Hospital of Colorado, coming to Mile High September 5th and 6th. Family friendly, free to the public. You can meet and greet Bronco players, cheerleaders, 9 News anchors, and reporters. You can play games, catch cooking and wellness demos, and get tips to help create a healthy lifestyle. For more information, go to broncos.com/health and wellness. 2nd and 1. Osweiler rolling out. He's got a man wide open. And it's James Casey. He's got a first down out to the Denver 38-yard line.
That's a characteristic of this offense. You run that zone scheme and then the fake off it and getting the quarterback outside the pocket. Osweiler with not the most accurate of throws, but James Casey does a nice job going down and getting the football.
Mike Purcell made the tackle. That's the young man from Highlands Ranch. Went to Wyoming, returned a interception last week. On first down, Thompson up the middle to the 42 and right on cue. Mike Purcell with the tackle.
You know what I like about Juwan Thompson, though? I think it's always great to have a little versatility in your position groups. And you look at the running back, you got C.J. Anderson, a powerful, short, squatty guy. You got Ronnie Hillman, change of pace. Got the speed and quickness and running with great power. And then you got the big banger in Juwan Thompson.
Well, let me ask you, where does Monte Ball fit in? I thought we'd see him tonight, and we haven't seen him. We'll talk about that after this play. From the shotgun, Osweiler dumps it out. It's incomplete. The throw is at the feet of Juwan Thompson.
And for whatever reason, Monte Ball, I think his game translates to this system, but just when he's had his opportunities, which he hasn't had a whole lot, he hasn't shown a whole lot. And
on cue.
There he is.
There he is.
Now he's got
Maybe
his
Gary
opportunity.
heard us. Said, okay, we'll get him in. I think it's the first time he's been in tonight.
You see those numbers, very underwhelming, but he's a good football player. He's just having trouble getting it going this year.
And more. Monte Ball inside the 40 to the 38. And it's a first down for Denver. Jermaine Whitehead made the tackle, but Monte Ball making an impact.
You can see the blitzers coming for the 49ers, and when the blitzers come, just hit them in that void area where they came from, and that's exactly what Monte Ball does. And they're the height of Brock Osweiler, 6'8", can see over that incoming pressure, and he pays for it. That's football. Took one right in the face. Hung in there tight.
19 yards to Monte Ball. Play action. Osweiler on the boot. He's got Casey. Casey makes a man miss, rolls over him, and gets inside the 30 to the 27, where Tart made the stop. Good show of power from Casey.
James Casey's going to be a valuable player for the Denver Broncos. Has some versatility to him. He can play fullback, can play tight end. Peyton Manning, week 1, told us he's like a coach on the field because he's been with Gary Kubiak down in Houston. He knows this system very, very well.
Those are the plays that Osweiler looks comfortable with in this offense. There's Ball. Nothing there. Scove, number 48, was the first man to hit him. No gain.
Monte, when we saw the nice catch, but in his running, it just doesn't look as confident as it has in years past.
He looks
kinda
more tentative.
Yeah. And sometimes you're thinking too much. Other backs have been playing well, and you're trying to over-impress. Sometimes you just need to relax, trust your instincts, and let it go.
Isn't this the kind of offense, if you're a running back, you got to make that one cut, and you got to hit the hole pretty hard.
Hit it hard, and that's what we've seen Ronnie Hillman, C.J. Anderson do so well this preseason.
We'll take a break. We're in the fourth quarter. Denver trying to get the lead back.
Woods, Mendocino defensive stop of the game with his red zone pick of Manning in the first half.
You see how he didn't take the bait at all on that inside look by one of the best in the business, Demaryius Thomas. He understands route concepts. He's got no problem in terms of hipping up to a guy and running with him in man coverage. He's been so impressive, not just at practice. I mean, you saw the ball skills there with the interception. Also had the big pass breakup later in the game as Peyton was trying to slam it in there to Demaryius Thomas. I'll say it again, he is right in the mix to be a starter out on the island at corner.
So from an empty backfield, Osweiler second down, falls after the tip. He was behind Reeser and in front of the diving Whitehead.
And not a well thrown ball by Osweiler, high and behind that end cut. And that's usually where you're going to have the opportunity for those interceptions, anywhere between the numbers, tips and overthrows. That back end defender.
And good job. Leon McFadden broke through the blocking there to break up the screen. And the Broncos get stuffed. Jordan Taylor was the receiver. Now Denver will try a field goal to regain the lead.
That's not an easy job for a corner, dipping under one of those big offensive linemen. McFadden had that leverage the whole way. Good position.
45 for McManus. Missed from 55 earlier. Doesn't miss this one. So the Broncos regain the lead. 3 field goals each way. It's a Denver safety right now. That is the difference. Just what you expected on this Saturday night. Third Ask Tim, brought to you by Jack in the Box. All right, who are the starting corners, Tim Ryan?
Well, I got to stay on the theme in terms of what I've seen all at training camp and watching the tape. I think Kenneth Acker is going to be a surprise starter on one side, and if healthy, and I think he will be, got nicked a little bit this week in practice, Tremaine Brock will line up as the starter on the other side.
There's Jared Hayne, who's been on the field a couple of times in the second half, back to get a shot to run this kick, and he's over his reach and out the back. So no chance. Another long drive by Denver. It was a 10-play drive. That's the one thing the Broncos have done tonight. They've run 59 plays. The 49ers have run 34 as they begin this drive. And stay with Gabbert.
Got Silberman back in there at right guard again, who started the game.
And Trent Brown there, 77, the right tackle, draft pick.
Another guy that's played well. 11 college starts, and he is a mammoth. And those skills have showed up here.
Gabbert on the out, nice catch. Ellington pushing it forward to get a first down at the 30-yard line. 49ers had 2 completed passes in the first half. Gabbert in the second half now is 6 out of 7.
No, and you couple that with what his numbers were coming into this game, and it's pretty obvious Blaine Gabbert's got a pretty good command of this offense.
Hayne is smacked and stopped, so
that Barrett is a player, 48 for Denver. You watch him in the preseason, and not just rushing the passer, his quickness at the line of scrimmage and kind of a poor man's Von Miller, because Von's probably the best in the business with that short area quickness and making people miss. This guy right here has been tough to block.
And here's Hayne out of the backfield. So Jared Hayne catches a pass for a first down. And again, showing what we've now seen enough in 3 games to understand. If he can get into the open, this guy knows what he's doing.
And just running a little option route on the linebacker, and you love the ball location from Blaine Gabbert. I mean, nobody had a chance to get that. Watch the ball location. Good little read and route. Seeing the outside leverage of the backer cutting inside, but Gabbert puts it down near the belt buckle. Not risking any high ball or a tip over the middle of the field. Well done by both guys.
So Haynes had a couple of carries from scrimmage. That is 1 pass catch. He's also run back a punt tonight.
Got a pretty nice bruise on that left shoulder, too.
Kendall Hunter has carried the ball the most from scrimmage. 7 carries tonight. Mike Davis, this will be his 6th. And Mike Davis looked like he twisted ahead to get a first down. Looking at these men, this, at least from the standpoint of evaluation, Tim, this is what these guys would like. They're the ones getting the snaps, chance to play.
That's right.
How about Ellington? Man, that was a multi-bobble hold and still run for a first down despite trying to secure the ball and avoid tacklers.
Another good read by Gabbert. Accurate throw right on the money. Good block by Busta Anderson right in front of him. There's a nice little juke move right there.
It's our infinity innovative move. And nowhere to go for Davis.
Dwayne, you got to think when you really try to evaluate, Ted, who that third wide receiver is going to be. I mean, Ellington's got to be in the mix based on what we've seen from the other guys this preseason, in Quentin Patton and DeAndrew White, although probably more, certainly more of a limited opportunity for DeAndrew White, but this is the first time we've seen Ellington in action. And I also think Jerome Simpson is going to end up being a player in that role too.
Has not played tonight, but again, he will start the season on the suspended list for 4 games. Boy, that is knocked away and then intercepted on the carry. A crunch over the middle. Blake Bell did not have that ball secured enough. It was popped free, and eventually...
Well, it looked like it may have hit the ground.
That's what I was wondering, too.
Gabbert.
It's Kayvon Webster that ends up with this. Let's see.
Another really well-thrown ball by Blaine Gabbert, and the ball goes down right there.
All right, so that'll be an incomplete pass. Of course, being a turnover, it is automatically reviewed. All right, here's a look at what will eventually be ruled an incomplete pass.
Gabbert just slices it in between a bunch of defenders right on the belt buckle of Blake Bell, and Josh Furman just comes up and knocks it out. It's clearly an incomplete pass.
Our crew downstairs saw that right away. So Bill Vinovich is overlooking at it, but it's a very obvious call to reverse, and the 49ers will retain possession. And they know it. The offense is walking back on the field.
Tell you, if anything, and there certainly is no QB controversy, I mean, that's obvious, but Blaine Gabbert this preseason has developed some confidence.
Tim, tell me, we'll listen to Vinovich here in a second.
After reviewing the play, the initial pass hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down and 11 at the 31-yard line. Please reset the...
But the second pass that Gabbert has thrown down the hash marks like that, Tim, that appear to be, those are big-time throws.
No, they're there, and again, I mean, putting them on the money with pinpoint accuracy with defenders all over the place to where nobody else has a chance to get him except his intended target has been impressive. Now the caveat to that is Von Miller DeMarcus Ware, Malik Jackson, and the rest of the guys aren't breathing down his throat in about a second and a half with ridiculously lethal pressure.
Can you file that point under details?
Yeah, minor detail.
All right, 49ers get a shot here on third down. Gabbert needs a big play. Kane is going to leak out of the backfield. Gabbert launching one toward the end zone, but DeAndre White could not get, Ellington could not get there. And now a flag
There
comes
was
in
contact,
late.
no question.
It's late, but a flag does come in as Ellington was trying to avoid the defender, and the 49ers will get a first down out of this.
Yeah, there is no doubt there's going to be a first down. Ellington just on a straight, just shows an in cut and then gets vertical right away.
Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Curtis Marsh, the Denver defensive back.
Cannot restrict the path of the wide receiver. Will fake inside like he was going to the post and then took it straight vertical. And after 5 yards, I mean, you can't get in that guy's way like that.
So to the Toyota red zone. 49ers, can they put it in the end zone? Try a run on the first play, Mike Davis to the line of scrimmage.
I have a feeling you're not going to run in the middle against old 98 Kilgo.
6th round draft pick, but you said he's showing up well this camp.
He sure has.
Ellington at the bottom. Isaac Blakeney, wide receiver at the top. Blake Bell holds that, but a short gain. Can't escape Todd Davis, and now the 49ers have third down.
Same play they ran earlier with success. Little read option fake, and the tight end coming from the backside behind the formation. Well covered by Denver that time. I'd love to see Blaine Gabbert, whatever he's got to do, take a shot into the end zone.
Kendall Gaskins, the running back. Gabbert sacked. Now he's got to hold the ball. They're trying to stand him up and rip it. So Gabbert down, and this will continue the theme of the night. It'll be field goal time.
And nobody open, and the pressure closed on Gabbert. That pocket just surrounded him before anybody could shake free. I mean, Shane Ray comes inside on Patrick Miller.
Well, Corey Acosta rolled at 50, made it look good. This one from 29. And the 49ers regain the lead on their 4th field goal of the night.
There is some power in that little stroke now.
3 of those field goals by Acosta in the second half on drives engineered by Gabbert. Geico tackle of the game. Man, look at Navarro Bowman run.
Yeah, in hot pursuit. The beauty of that play was the key and diagnose and really anticipating that crack toss and runs down the line of scrimmage. And you'd probably be kind if you said C.J. Anderson was 225 pounds. He may go a little heavier than that. And a big collision between Navarro Bowman, who's last week and this week, it is so good to see him back in a uniform, and he's going to have a big year. He's back.
Tim, I was just going to say that Bowman played, if you've just joined us, Bowman played almost the entire first half, which was to our surprise. He looked terrific, and you don't want to shine or spoil a nice half by Gabbert. The young camp kicker, Acosta's kicked 3 field goals, terrific. But that's, again, if you're a 49er fan, that's your feel-good story tonight.
Yeah, player of the game on defense, and I mean, we saw last week he made big plays, 3 impact plays, 2 big sacks early in this game tonight as a blitzer right up the gut, and both with a different variety and a different move.
Denver staying with Osweiler, airing one out. And just beyond Jordan Taylor, who had 2 men trailing, Cromartie and McCray of the 49ers. And they gave Osweiler 1 shot to air it out.
Taylor's had a nice camp for Denver. He's opened some eyes here and really runs right by L.J. McCray down deep down the seam, down the middle of the field. Now I'll give L.J. McCray a little bit of credit. He just lost ground there but he was limping off the field earlier. Remember on the kickoff, or I believe it was the punt as a cover guy. I mean, he had a significant limp. I don't think he's right health-wise.
Osweiler into the middle, a ball bobbled but eventually held by Nathan Palmer, who was with the 49ers a couple of years back.
He's been with a bunch of teams on their practice squads.
So it is fourth quarter of a preseason game, which means a lot of the men that are using this moment, hopefully using this moment to make a team. They're fighting. Although Osweiler's not, but many of the guys on the field are going to determine who wins or loses.
Well, and I think the thing, if you're a young player in this league and you're trying to find your way and you're trying to make a roster, one thing you need to understand is the big eye in the sky doesn't lie, and you're not just playing to make this roster and the numbers game doesn't work in your favor. There's 31 other teams that are going to be watching you on tape.
And that's what much of this quarter tonight, and I think a lot of Thursday night's games around the league are about. Scove came in, and that ball held short of a first down, but a nice hold there by Taylor.
I'll tell you what, Shane Scove has done a nice job, and we saw it last week. We've seen it again tonight, is just kind of sifting his way through and around those running backs, getting pressure on the quarterback, and a heads-up play now by really not driving through the lower body of Brock Osweiler. It's a good job by Scove, really, because the officials are just waiting for someone to hit a quarterback low, down below the knees with force, and he was smart to pull up.
Marcus Cromartie did not allow the receiver any further yardage, so it is third down. And the Broncos need all of 5 yards. And Osweiler will get those yards. Pass to Isaiah Burse. Flag down.
Boy, Denver offensively, when they've needed to pick up a first down, they have just made a living with that route over to their sideline.
There's a hands to the face foul against the 49ers, which is declined. Denver takes the pass in the first down. Osweiler there to Isaiah Burse, who was one of the targets for Derek Carr at Fresno State, along with Devontae Adams. Palo Alto is poised to be a big player for Green Bay this year.
Well, they're going to need him to be a bigger player with the loss of their big stud, Jordy Nelson.
So Denver with a first down. And they've got Jawan Thompson as the back. Big body. Thompson plows his way down. Good first down gain of 8 yards.
And that's the area of this game that I know will stick in the craw of the head coach, Jimmy Tomsula, and the defensive coordinator, Eric Mangini. And it's created some trepidation in my mind, and it's how the defensive line has gotten moved at the line of scrimmage. And it didn't matter if it was the starters early in the game, with C.J. Anderson running the ball or Ronnie Hillman running the ball, or here now late in the game with Purcell out there and Eric Armstead. Purcell has played well, but Eric Armstead has gotten moved around the line of scrimmage in this game more than the coaches would like to see.
So Purcell got eager there.
5-yard penalty results in a first down.
After he had his pick 6 last week, Purcell was just loving life. You walk out after the game, and there he is carrying his baby in his arms.
Love to see that.
3-4 months old.
I saw Ian Williams doing the same thing, carrying his baby in his arms.
He's just beaming.
Yep.
Both
a
professional high and a personal high.
Agree with that. Ted, I got to wonder if these guys are tired, to be honest with you. When you think about playing on a Sunday and then traveling out here, what was it, Tuesday night? Practicing 2 days against Denver, here in altitude Wednesday and Thursday. Really from the start of the game, and it's been mostly the big guys with their hand on the ground on both sides of the ball. They haven't looked the same.
And yet they've gone to this point, and it was hard to fathom this watching the first half. The 49ers, here 3 minutes to play, had the lead. But Denver now positioning themselves. They're at least in field goal opportunity. And there's a nice catch, a nice adjustment by Taylor. Jordan Taylor, well, you're going to be familiar with a couple people. He's a Rice
He was
product.
electric at Rice. Now, when you watch some of his highlights, that guy made a bunch of plays.
Rice, of course, Vance McDonald, 49er tight end who was injured, not playing tonight. Luke Wilson, Seattle tight end, played with those guys.
Yep.
Third down, here comes a blitz. Osweiler lobs it up for Taylor. And it's broken up, and they'll call McFadden.
That's going to be pass interference on Milan Hicks.
Milan Hicks.
He never turned to locate the ball and had corner or had contact, with the wide receiver while the ball was in the air. That's an easy call. Pretty good throw with pressure right in his face from Osweiler.
Defense number 33. Ball occurred in the end zone. Ball be placed at the 1 yard line. Automatic first down.
If you're going to have any contact at all with that upper body, and he's actually getting armbarred there by Taylor a little bit. If you're going to have any of that contact, you have got, before you have it, you've got to turn your head and try to make a play on the football. At least then you have a chance. But if you never turn your head and locate the ball and try to make a play on it and have that kind of contact with the ball in the air, easy call every time.
So Denver, end zone foul, ball at the 1. And Jawad Thompson goes in for the first touchdown of the night. And it took pass interference penalty to create that. Osweiler motioning. I believe they're going to go for 2 here to try to push the margin to 7.
Yeah, good double team out on the edge on Aaron Lynch. That's been really the theme of the night for the Broncos' ability and success running the football. Can't do that unless you get those guys blocked at the line of scrimmage, and frankly, Ted Denver, as we've seen, have done it most of the night.
All right, so the Broncos will go for 2 here to making sense with a 5-point lead.
It's like some confusion in coverage.
They run it inside and get the 2. So Denver, it's a 7-point lead. Touchdown run and 2-point conversion run by Jawad Thompson. 49ers will have one more shot here with 2 minutes and their 3 timeouts.
And that was all window dressing out on the side with that bunch set with those wide receivers and everybody thinking coverage, and they run that little play that cuts back to the weak side. Not a good squeeze from Aaron Lynch on that 2-point try, and now a 7-point game.
So the new rule this year, Tim, that this doesn't count this weekend's games, but for the first 2 weekends of NFL play, on the new extra point kick from the 15-yard line, 33-yard kick, there were only 5 misses, 95.2%. And that's about what people expected.
Yeah.
There were 31 2-point conversions attempted. I don't have the success rate, but there were 31 as opposed to 105 kicks. So it was 1 in 3 basically.
At least it's a little more difficult.
1 in 4, excuse me, 1 out of 4.
For the 33-yard point after touchdown, because I think the PAT was about 99.6% or something.
Yeah. So there's a couple of misses, but of course the strategy that it's employed, and the big thing to me will be when we see it employed when a penalty is called.
That's
we
right.
haven't seen that. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's going to make the strategy of the game very interesting in the heat of the battle.
And what that means is the kickoff is out of the end zone is if you go for 2 and penalty is called,
you can go back and take a shot for 1.
But the penalty's enforced either way.
Right.
So if it's a 10-yard foul and you decide I don't want to go for 2 from the 12-yard line, you would have to kick from the 25, meaning it's a 43-yard extra point. We haven't seen that yet, but that is the rule.
43-yard extra point. Phil Dawson already doesn't want to call it a PAT. It's a field goal after touchdown.
49ers now give the ball for this, we suspect is the final drive, to Dylan Thompson. But the play didn't start.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. Go first down.
Well, last week Denver won their game in Houston in the final minute. 7th-round draft pick Trevor Siemian out of Northwestern engineered a winning touchdown drive. So Dylan Thompson has a chance to be have that kind of a dream right here. Undrafted, South Carolina, great college numbers. Played for Steve Spurrier, throws this one away to get us to the just under 2-minute warning. So we'll come back and see if Thompson can engineer a drive. 4 field goals tonight. Can the 49ers use the 2 minutes to get themselves to the end zone? All right, here we go with 1:57. 3 timeouts for the 49ers. And to see if somebody can be a hero, make themselves a great case to be on a team. Nigel King, a wide receiver at the very bottom of the screen.
And Chuck Jacobs up here at the top. Haven't seen him a lot this preseason.
Kane goes out of the backfield, and Thompson tries to throw it to him, incomplete. Denver's got an eye on Hayne. They're not losing him.
Well, and you can see Dylan Thompson right there is talking to Jared Hayne like he should have ran out to the flat rather than just turning around, and didn't seem to run the right route for his quarterback, at least according to that body language from Dylan Thompson.
So 3rd down. Pretty impressive. There's actually noise here. And Thompson just throws one way down the field. No hope there. And the 49ers are going to send the punt team out on 4th down. Final 2 minutes of a preseason game with very few recognizable names on the field, and these people are going crazy there. Those that are still here.
It is a mile high here. Ted, not a lot of oxygen.
Jim Tom Sula maybe thinking here, I can trust my defense, use 3 timeouts. Pinion, very short punt, but gets a nice bounce. Ends up being a very good net inside the 35. It looks like the Broncos are going to send Osweiler back onto the field here. Actually, there was a flag down. I didn't see it.
During the kick, illegal block in the back. Kicking team number 33. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Denver keeps the ball. First down.
It's 2 tough penalties for Mylan Hicks. About the last 5 minutes.
I would love. That's.
Oh, that was
Trey Millard.
Trey Millard, the fullback. Those double numbers again.
Right. Fullback, who was another player redshirted last year due to injury. I would love to get a percentage call. Maybe Hampton can do this for me. Number of special teams, percentage of special teams plays on which a penalty is called in the preseason. 80%. That's my over-under. So it is Osweiler handing off. Monty Ball the carry. And the 49ers take their first timeout.
Pretty good tackle there by Jermaine Whitehead.
By the way, there will be a cut made between tonight and Thursday night for the final preseason game. The roster's 15 players will be reduced, so each team, 15 men, whether they're here tonight or not, or dressed or not, there are 15 that won't be here Thursday night.
And unfortunately for some of those guys, Ted, it's the end of the road.
So Denver keeping most everybody and actually everybody in tight here to give Monty Ball another carry. And that one pushes within a yard of a first down.
That's going to end up being a penalty.
And if it is a first down, that's going to perhaps put this one away for Denver.
Yeah, Garrison Smith. The frustration setting in. And this group of defensive linemen now, and Lawrence Okoye's out there, Garrison Smith, they have not been in this game up until this drive. You could see there's the push right there. And then there's the one that gets called. Retaliation.
I'm not sure what.
There's no foul for a late hit. San Francisco's called their second charge timeout. 30-second timeout.
All right, so apparently the
Please
flag
reset
was.
the game clock to 1 minute, 19 seconds, 119.
Well, I know.
Flag was rescinded.
Yeah. I know it was a few years ago they tried to get the aggressor, not always the retaliator, because the retaliator was typically the guy that got called. It's like that point of emphasis held true right there.
Well, tonight, early in the game, debut of Reggie Bush as a 49er, and here is his big run from scrimmage, our Lexus play of the game.
Well, you can tell he's got fresh legs.
That was a 21-yard run from scrimmage by Bush.
And he is such a grinder and such a worker. He's in great condition, and I've got a feeling they are going to do their best to keep Reggie fresh during the week of practice so that, look, he knows where to line up on Sundays. Let him go do his thing.
He also had one punt return, and that is a first down that will seal the game for Denver on the short third. Reggie Bush ran one punt back, let another one hit. And that will be an interesting question to watch play out over the next 2 weeks. Again, he has not returned a punt in a regular season game in 4 years. Would he be a serious contender for that job?
I think he would be. Although, again, back to the protect Reggie theme. Tell you what, talking to fresh, he's got a 2-month-old baby boy at home. He looks fresh. That's unusual, Ted.
Osweiler takes a knee, and the 49ers have a timeout, but no sense to use it. That will wrap up this preseason game in which Denver really seemed to have much the better of things in the first half. The 49ers got to the final minutes with the lead, but the Broncos scored just over 2 minutes to play and end up winning this game 19-12.
And Coach Tom Sula won't panic. I mean, nobody will, but I can guarantee you he won't be happy when he watches the tape and watches what happened at the line of scrimmage. That's what will bother him the most. It's a preseason game. It's meaningless. It means nothing. There was some good play by some good players, and I think some questions answered tonight. We talked about Acker. It was so great to see Navarro Bowman back there. Reggie Bush with a couple of quality touches. Blaine Gabbert with some nice throws. Colin Kaepernick showing those legs right before half with some big explosion runs, Ted. But how this team was really moved around at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball is what's going to bother these coaches and these players when they watch this tape tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're referencing mostly first half when frontliners in the game, and it was a line of scrimmage win for Denver. Second half was much better for the 49ers, although they did not get to the end zone. They did generate 3 field goals in the second half. And now it's all the moments for players that won't see each other again this season. These teams did play during the regular season last year here.
Unless it's in 164 days.
That's exactly right.
Keep the hope alive, Ted.
The only way. So guys are exchanging all the best. And well, a bright spot tonight, no doubt, Navarro Bowman. Dennis?
Okay, alongside is Navarro Bowman. Navarro, you got a little cameo last week, extended playing time tonight. How do you feel?
I feel great. I felt good. Coach said 10, but, I told him I felt good. I just wanted to keep going and see where I ended up.
Do you feel anything different in the knee after extended playing time for the first time?
Not at all, and that's exactly what I wanted to see, how it would respond with, coming off the field after 3 and out and things like that, and it responded well. So just looking forward to, completing a full game and seeing how it feels after.
You got to Peyton Manning twice tonight. Did Peyton have anything to say to you?
No, it's preseason. We're trying to get the kinks out, both teams, and I was just able to make a few plays out here, but we have a big season ahead of us, so we want to get the kinks out and be ready for game 1.
You're a great football player, but you're also a class act. It's great to have 53 back on the field.
I appreciate it. I enjoy leading these guys, setting an example of the type of football that we like to play. We still have a lot of work to do, as a defense, as an offense, and that's what we plan on doing, just going back to the lab and correcting mistakes and becoming a better team.
Navarro, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's go back upstairs.
Right. Dennis, there won't be a lot of time. Of course, it's a very short week before a Thursday game. But, yeah, I like that Bowman said. That was the plan, 10 plays. He went about 3 times past that.